Good morning and welcome to Cindy's Kitchen. We are so glad that you are here. If you are brand new, never been to Cindy's Kitchen before, welcome. Quick, easy, yummy meals, all kinds of things, desserts, entrees, side dishes. You never know what we're gonna make. When we're done, if you're looking for the recipes, please head on over to Cindy's Kitchen YouTube channel, subscribe, and you can get all of our recipes right down there. So, that's very exciting. So welcome. Glad you're here this morning. So are we ready? Are we ready? I know I'm very excited. Very excited. Today we're only doing one recipe because I have talked to you about some other things. And so this one is called 7-layer bar cookies. I don't know if you've ever heard of these. And so because I have to put something in the microwave, good morning, Gail. Because I have to put this in the microwave, I'm gonna go ahead and get started. Good morning, Cheryl. So I have my little, oh gosh, I don't have my ruler. Let me see where my ruler is. Well, I don't know. You're supposed to use a 9x12, which is odd, don't you think? The original recipe called for a 9x12 dish. And, you know, everybody uses a 9x13. So I kind of thought that was an odd thing, you know, that it called for a 9x12. That being said, I'm not exactly certain how big this is, but I think it's probably small. Here, you know what? I can't find the ruler, but if Philip were here, this is 8x10. Oh, so it's smaller. 9x, close enough. This is an 8x10. I'm using an 8x10. So we need to start off, we're using an 8x10, and unless you have a 9x12, which I don't even know what that is, but a half a stick of butter. Now I'm using unsalted butter only because, I mean, it's a dessert and I happen to have unsalted butter. But if you don't have unsalted butter, that's fine. Okay, so you can actually, if you want to put your butter in something else and stick it in the microwave and melt it and pour it in here, that's fine. I'm just gonna put this in the microwave and melt it, okay? Well, actually, Jessica's gonna melt it. I'm gonna stand here. While we're waiting for the butter to melt, let me discuss something with you. Remember last week when I went to put something in my slow cooker only to discover that the slow cooker had a big crack all the way in it? I've had that slow cooker for 10 years. 10 years, I tell you. So I suppose that I could have just gotten the inside part and replaced that. But the lid was fitting wonky on there, and I was like, you know what? I'm just buying a new one. Just buying a new one. Had this for 10 years. It was good. Then I started looking around, and I have never purchased an Instapot. I probably am one of the only people on the planet that do not own an Instapot or some sort of Instapot or pressure cooker, whatever. So when I started looking, I noticed that if you got the Instapot, you could use it as a slow cooker. Okay, I don't like to buy things that have like one purpose, although I guess the slow cooker had one purpose. So, here we go. I bought an Instapot. I don't know how to use it, and that's why we're only doing one. Good morning, Beth. We're only doing one recipe. I don't know how to use this. I've never used it before. But I had this in the freezer, this little tiny, what is it? Mesquite barbecue flavored pork tenderloin, okay? So it's not very big, 24 ounces, pound and a half of meat. But supposedly it's gonna cook it in 3 minutes. Now a friend of mine tells me that it takes like 5 or 10 minutes for it to come up to steam or whatever. Then you cook it for 3 minutes, and then you have to let it all the steam out or vent or something. I don't know. I haven't read anything. It came right before we were leaving town. And so I didn't want to do that. Oh, Bess, you don't have one. Alice, you don't know how to use it. Hi, Joanne. Anyway, so it says that you can pressure cook, you can do rice, you can steam, you can saute, you can slow cook, you can sous vide, woo. You can make yogurt, and you can bake. So we shall see. You've had one for a year and it's still in the box. Well, okay. So if anybody has one that you've used, Tell me if you have one and you like it, and tell me your favorite recipe. What's your favorite thing to cook in the Instapot, or whatever brand you have? Doesn't have to be the Instapot brand, but one of these things, because I have to try it. Lisa, you have one that's never been out of the box too? Oh my gosh. Okay. Lord, you don't have one either. Well, we're going to have to try the Instapot. I'm going to try it today, and I'm going to cook this little tenderloin, and we're going to see if it really takes 3 minutes. I know. I couldn't believe I got it either, but we'll see. I mean, look at that. That looks heavy duty, doesn't it? There's stuff in there. So we'll see. My mom boiled eggs. I know, but I have my little egg cooker. My mom had a pressure cooker when I was growing up. Do you remember those? Like the lid went like this, and you had to click it, and that thing scared the bejeebers out of me. So anyway, all right, you see our melted butter? Look at that, melted butter on the bottom of our baking dish, our 9 by 12. Nobody else has one. Funny though, my kid who doesn't cook has one, and she cooks. That is what she uses. Well, cool, Beth. Okay, so 9 by 12. If you have one, this is an 8 by 10. I'm using the 8 by 10. All right, so half a stick of butter. Butter, I tell you. If you're using margarine, I don't know what to tell you. Half a stick of butter on the end. Now, let me just tell you some history behind these cookies. I find this interesting. This recipe was sent to this is Southern Living magazine recipe, by a lady from Gadsden, Alabama. And why was this recipe so special? For starters, it was the first ever bar cookie recipe ever featured in Southern Living magazine. And it was published in the July 1966 issue as part of the 4th of July party theme. How cool is that? How cool is that? Cooked garbanzo beans that I make into snacks. Oh, Vicky, you might have to share that with me. That might be a share. Love making baked beans, yogurt, and chili. Okay, we're gonna have to see how it works. I may have to do a show or two using the Instapot. And before you were born. Oh, Lisa, you are such a baby. Such a baby. Okay, so we have our half a stick of butter. Half a stick of butter. Now, you're gonna need, you were born in Gadsden. Oh, that's Jessica. Graham cracker crumbs. Graham cracker crumbs, and you're gonna need a cup, okay? So pour your cup of graham cracker crumbs into here. La 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 la. Look at that, graham cracker crumbs. Okay, now we're going to evenly, I know this went against everything I could think of, because when you make a graham cracker crust, you dump the melted butter and this together, and then you push it down so that all of the breadcrumbs has the butter. That's not what we do. All of this is layering. 7 layers. So our first layer was the melted butter. Our second layer is a cup of graham cracker crumbs. So we're just gonna shake so that we're evenly coating the bottom of our baking dish. Can you evenly coat? You know how this goes against my dump theory. Although I guess it is dumping, it's just dumping in an even fashion versus just dumping that. There we go. Okay, now, you wanna make sure every layer is even. Okay, so, and why? So I'm just gonna take the bottom of my measuring cup and just kind of pat it. We wanna make sure it's even so that every bite has an equal amount of yummy goodness. Yummy goodness. Okay, so now, it concerned me when I made this because it looked like, you know, the graham crackers are dry. Not all of them have soaked up the butter, and that bothered me. But that's what the recipe said to do, so that's what I did. All right, layer 1, butter. Layer 2, a cup of graham crackers, crumbs. Now, layer 3 is flaked coconut. Flaked coconut. Now, I'm using sweetened flaked coconut. The original recipe said a can of flaked coconut. First of all, no cans at the grocery store. Second of all, it didn't tell you how much was in a can. Third of all, it didn't say sweetened coconut or unsweetened coconut. So here's what I'm doing. I got a bag of coconut, and it's sweetened flaked coconut. Good morning, Sharon. And so here's the problem. I'm not really a big coconut fan. Can you omit the coconut? Yeah, but then it would be a 6-layer dip. If you're okay with the 6-layer dip, I'm sure. What else could you put in there instead? Maybe put Rice Krispies. Oh, try that. I tried the chicken bacon recipe on Saturday and my family absolutely loved it. I'm glad, Carol, I'm glad. We're not big coconut people. That being said, trying to follow the recipe. So it didn't say how much, but because pretty much everything was 1 cup to a 2/3 cup, something like that, I'm gonna say 2/3 of a cup because, well, I'll just use the whole cup. Maybe I'll give this one away. I'm gonna give this one away. We don't really like coconut. Maybe Rice Krispie treats, that would be good. Try that one. Hello, Denise. Okay, layer 1, half a stick of melted butter. Layer 2, a cup of graham cracker crumbs. Layer 3, a cup of sweetened flaked coconut. Coconut. All right, layer 4. We ready for layer 4? 4. Layer 4 is chocolate chips. Now, the original recipe, again, called for a 6-ounce package of chocolate chips. No 6-ounce package to be found, and in fact, the Nestle Toll House one is 11.5. So you're not even getting 2 full cups out of there, are you? No, because that would be 8 ounces, and 8 ounces would be 16 ounces. So, needless to say, because 2/3 or 6 ounces would probably be 2/3 of a cup. But quite frankly, my measuring things don't have a 2/3 cup. It had a 1/3, I could do it, but I'm just gonna round up. So I'm using 1 cup of chocolate chips, okay? So 1 cup, I'll do it with my hands just so I can spread evenly. So that's our layer. Just make sure it's even so that, because remember, this is gonna melt and you're gonna want every bite to have yummy chocolate goodness, okay? All right, chocolate chips. Can you use mini chocolate chips? You can use whatever little chocolate chips. Can you use, what's the ones that use in chocolate and cookies? Semi-sweet. Sure, you can use semi-sweet. These are milk chocolate, just because. Okay, layer 4 is done. All right, let's recap. Layer 1, half stick of melted butter. Layer 2, a cup of graham cracker crumbs. Layer 3, a cup of sweetened flaked coconut. Layer 4, a cup of milk chocolate chips. Ready? Layer 5. I feel like I'm on Sesame Street or Electric Company. I can't remember which one. No, it was the count. 5 ingredients. Layer 5 is butterscotch chips. Yum. Again, the Toll House butterscotch comes in 11.5. So if you're making 2, you might have to get another one. A whole cup. And again, we're sprinkling to ensure maximum evenness. So, butterscotch chips. I have to tell you, for me, nothing quite smells like butterscotch chips. I love butterscotch chips. Yum. Okay, the butterscotch chips are evenly spread about. I'm just gonna give it a little push down just so everybody's flat. Okay. Layer 6. Layer 6 is a can of sweetened condensed milk. Can you see? Sweetened condensed milk. Again, I would usually just dump this in here, but we're not dumping, we're drizzling. Okay, because we need to make sure that, come on, there we go. We need to make sure, so I'm gonna do the back and forth. When I was doing this earlier this morning, I swayed. It's not like I can't just sway my arm. My whole body was swaying. So, okay, we have some other people on, so I have to ask while I'm drizzling, does anybody have and use their Instapot? And if you do, what is your favorite recipe to make using the Instapot? Somebody has got to be using them. Although there's 3 of you who have one that's never taken it out of the box. I'm not getting that. Well, I'm kind of getting it. Okay, look. Should I get a, here, I'll get a spatula. and scoop out so we don't lose any of the yummy goodness that is sweetened condensed milk. Okay, so that's all evenly spread. You just dump it, really, but it's an elegant drizzle. Okay, there we go. So that's layer 6. Let's recap. Pinto beans. Okay. Do I have an air fryer? Okay, Vicki, I have an air fryer. I used it once. Philip broke the lid. It's been under there. I mean, you know, I don't know. I wasn't overly jazzed, but I didn't really give it a chance. I really didn't, because he broke the lid, and so there you have it. Pinto beans. Okay. And you don't really use it either, Jan. Okay, well, we are going to learn to use these things. I promise. Okay, so let's recap because we're almost on the 7th layer. You ready? Layer 1, a half a cup of melted butter. Layer 2, a cup of graham cracker crumbs. Love it. Layer 3 is a cup of flaked sweetened coconut. Layer 4 is a cup of milk chocolate chips. Layer 5 is a cup of butterscotch chips. Layer 6 is a whole can of sweetened condensed milk. And here we go. Katie uses hers for chicken. Okay. Ooh, you want to lick the spoon, Sharon? Here we go. Rob makes beef stew in ours. Okay, there you go. Layer 7. 7. And here it is. Pecans. Now I have this big bag that I got at Sam's, I think, somewhere. Because you need a cup of pecans. And these say cookie pieces. You know I don't like nuts, right? You know I must love you a lot that I'm making a recipe that has coconut and nuts in it, and I don't like either one. But I will tell you, the finished product, not so bad. Okay, again, we're just shaking so that the nuts are evenly distributed. These may be okay, because look, can you see how little tiny? Look, little tiny. These are little tiny pieces. And so that's okay. I just don't want a big old pecan. That being said, when we stopped at Buc-ee's, Cassie they have these pecans that are covered in praline, sugar, yumminess. We got some of those. I ate those. Okay, all the way across. La, la, la. What should I have told you first? Preheat your oven to 325. 325. Okay. There. Look how pretty that looks. Pretty. Ooh. Ah. Ooh. Ah. Okay. In the oven. 325 for 30 minutes. You are going to see, well, in the one I did, on the edges, I could see the butterscotch like bubbling up. It was like bloop, bloop, bloop. It was like an experiment. I would have to leave the coconut off. The texture messes with me. I know, love the flavor. Wonder if you could use coconut cream. I don't know. Somebody else said that, and so I'm thinking maybe Rice Krispies. Because that way you get kind of a fun texture without the, I know, I'm not a coconut person. Maybe I'll have to try that. Of course, now I'm out of, jump on the Instapot bandwagon, paid $25, Kohl's. Okay, Gail, well, used it, hold on. I can't see the rest of the comment. Oh, there we go. Used it twice. Oh, well, it did make good ribs. Okay. All right, so into the oven it goes. Okay. I put this in the oven at 10. I brown ground beef in mine all the time. It's good for homemade stews and soups and goulash and easier for cleanup. Okay, good to know, Kathleen. Thank you. I put this in the oven at 10 o'clock and took it out at 10:30. It's now almost 11:30, so it's set for an hour. And I would highly recommend that because my pan was still kind of hot. So here's a piece that has been taken out. Look how lovely that is. Can you see how it's all melty? Oh, okay. Let us get, should we use a fork or a spoon? Okay. Can you see? Can you see? Can you see? Look. Oh. Okay, there it is. Hold on. Okay. I don't like coconut. but it's okay. It's kind of like the coconut kind of melted into the butterscotch and the chocolate. It's very rich. You need a glass of milk. You need a glass of milk to eat with this. But here's the good thing about this recipe. None of these ingredients are really overly expensive. You could probably make the whole thing, you could probably double this thing for less than 20 bucks. That being said, if you have to take a dessert somewhere, or you're having like a family get together or people over at your house, this would be really easy to double or triple. It's really, we pretty much used a cup of everything except for the butter. Because, you know, a half a stick of butter is a quarter of a cup. So really, everything else was a cup. I used a cup, a cup, a cup, a cup, a cup. And so really, easy recipe to double, triple, or whatever. My pan is an 8 by 10, Linda. The original recipe called by a 9 by 12. That recipe is also known as magic bars, huh? Well, Gail, this came out of Southern Living magazine. And it was it was published in July of 1966, and it was the first ever bar cookie recipe ever featured in Southern Living magazine from a Mrs. Boyd out of Gadsden, Alabama. So, so there you go. So good. Anyway, so a good thing to take with you, easy to make, very rich. I would say, oh, a big old dollop of Bluebell ice cream would be lovely on top of that. But boy, do we really need more sweetness. Yes, magic bars. Well, somebody renamed them because, or maybe Southern Living did. Although, you know what's really funny is I have tons and tons and tons of Southern Living cookbooks because my grandfather collected cookbooks. And when he died, I got them all. And I went through every Southern Living cookbook I had, and these weren't in there. So, your mother always made these at Christmas. Cool. Hey, Joanne, were you like over the moon excited that that Rebecca has Sunburst, that she's restocking the Sunburst pattern? I was like, oh, Joanne must be checking her checking account balance. Easy to cut in half, use an 8 by 8. Okay, Gail. So there you go. If you live by yourself and you don't want to make this big of a one, just cut the recipe in half and do an 8 by 8. That's a great idea, Gail. Thank you. Okay, folks. Well, we only did one today. I know it was quick, but I have a lot of learning to do about my Instapot. I have to learn how to cook my little pork tenderloin for dinner. And so there you go. I know Joanne was excited. I have to tell you why I'm very excited. I'm very excited because she brought back the pattern Kiwi. Kiwi was one of my favorites. I got a bowl last night, but I'm really hoping I can get a bistro mug because I really love the Kiwi pattern. Okay. 2 things to remind you of. 1, Wednesday is our 100th show. 100 shows. Can you believe that Cindy's Kitchen has done 100 shows? And actually, if you were counting every time I went live, we've already hit 100. But I did 2 shows when I was getting an infusion at the hospital, and then the road show. And I don't count those because we didn't really cook. So that being said, oh, you got one too, Vicki? Cool. So I'm not counting those 3 as cooking shows. That means today is 98, tomorrow's 99, and Wednesday is 100. So we should celebrate. So I'm hoping you'll invite your friends. And then later that day, at some point, Rebecca, my friend from More Polished Pottery, we're going to try to do a live where we take each other on the live. We don't know how to do it yet, so it may not work. And we're going to do a weird food tasting. Oh, they did. I'm sorry, Joanne. Well, I think she'll get some more stuff in. All right, guys. I hope you enjoy magic bars or Southern Living 7-layer cookies, whichever it is. We'll have everything posted on our YouTube. Look, she's behind me, ready to cut my head off. We'll have this video and the recipe posted on Cindy's Kitchen YouTube channel around 1 o'clock. So from my kitchen to your kitchen, I hope you have a really sweet, sweet day. And we will see you tomorrow at 11 o'clock. Bye-bye.